The story of a seed and a dream. Today, I want to share with you a story. A story simple in words, but powerful in meaning. It is called the story of a seed and a dream. Once upon a time, in a small quiet village, there lived a young woman who carried something in her hand. It wasn't gold, it wasn't silver, it wasn't a sparkling jewel. No, it was just a small, ordinary seed. To most people, it was nothing. Just a tiny thing, so small it could slip between the cracks of your fingers. But to her, it meant everything. Because that seed was more than just a seed, it was a dream. A vision, a possibility waiting to unfold. She looked at it and whispered, "One day, you will grow." But dreams, like seeds, don't grow overnight. Every day, she would walk to a patch of earth where the soil was dry, and the sun shone gently. She bent down, placed the seed in the ground, and covered it carefully with her hands. That was her first act of faith, planting something that could not yet be seen. From that day forward, she made a promise to herself. She would water it daily with her effort. She would guard it with her patience. She would protect it with her faith, even when others mocked her. The villagers often laughed at her. "Why waste your time on something so small?" they asked. "Seeds don't always grow. Dreams don't always come true." But she smiled quietly and kept tending to her little patch of earth. You see, she understood something powerful, that everything big always starts small. That the mightiest tree was once a fragile seed. And that dreams, just like seeds, must first grow roots in the dark, hidden away, before they can rise into the light. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Still, nothing. No green shoots. No signs of life. The ground looked the same as before. Barren, empty, silent. But she refused to give up. Every morning, she came back with her bucket of water. She poured it carefully, whispered words of hope, and walked away. Her friends stopped believing. The villagers stopped watching. But she kept going. Because sometimes, when nothing is visible on the surface, the greatest work is happening underneath. Roots were spreading deep into the soil, unseen, but essential. And then, one quiet morning, she noticed something different. A tiny green sprout, fragile, soft, barely pushing through the soil. It wasn't much, but to her, it was everything. It was proof that her patience, her effort, and her faith were not in vain. The little sprout began to grow. Day by day, it reached upward, stretching toward the sun. The young woman tended to it like a mother with her child. She gave it water, protection, and care. She pulled out the weeds around it so they wouldn't steal its strength. And slowly, that little sprout grew taller, stronger, and greener. Seasons passed. The winds came. The rains poured. Storms tested the young plant, bending it almost to the ground. But each time, the young woman was there. She tied it gently to a wooden stick to keep it standing. She shielded it from animals that tried to eat its leaves. She believed in it, even when the storm made it look fragile and broken. Because she knew, growth requires struggle. Without the storm, the roots wouldn't grow deep. Without the wind, the stem wouldn't grow strong. Without the test, the tree would never stand tall. And so, the seed became a plant. The plant became a tree. And the tree, one day, burst into bloom, covered with flowers that filled the air with fragrance. Not long after, fruits began to appear. Sweet, ripe, and nourishing. Children played in its shade. Birds built nests in its branches. Travelers rested beneath its shelter. What once looked like nothing had now become a source of life for many. The young woman stood beneath her tree, smiling. She remembered the days when it was just a seed in her hand. She remembered the long months of waiting when nothing seemed to happen. She remembered the doubts, the storms, the struggles. And now, here it was. Strong, alive, beautiful. Her dream had come true, not because it was easy, but because she refused to stop believing. And so, my dear friend, the story of the seed is the story of every dream you carry within you. Thank you for your time.